We've got an '09 Toyota Avalon, which the battery light's on in the car, on the dash. So we're going to go through, we're going to take a look at this, we're going to test it, see if we can figure out easily whether something's wrong with this or there's a bigger problem, something going on in the wiring. I don't know yet, but we're just going to check it out and see what we find. I've got a solar BA9 here. It's kind of a charging system analyzer. We're going to hook this up to the battery. We're going to run a couple tests here just to see what it sees. Positive first. Better right there. The battery 12.52 volts. SLI, I don't know if you can see that, but the standard, lead flooded battery, lead acid battery. Now I got to enter the CCAs, the cold cranking amps for this. So I'm just gonna, get cold cranking amps, 750. That's what this battery is rated at. Push enter. It's testing it. It's okay. 631 cold cranking amps comes through with okay. So the battery's okay. I should be able to see a state of health here too. I'm just looking at this. This is new tool for me, so I'm still getting used to it. State of health 84%. State of charge 88%. So I'm going to now test the cranking system. I'm going to set this on cranking at the top. Find a better place to set that. Once I have that chosen, I push enter again. I get a flashing key in the bottom left here. And that means I can do a cranking test on it. So now I'm looking at the alternator. I gotta run the engine at 1215 RPMs. The alternator's showing 13.9 volts right now. Shows me that it's okay. In the bottom left corner here, that the alternator's charging okay. So I'm going to turn the accessories on. It's going to do an assessment of the load on the engine and what effect it has. So I'm going to go in and turn the headlights on, the fan motor, rear defroster, things like that. Still shows it okay, all of those loads on there. Still charging at 13.5 volts. Push the enter button and it shows me the ripple in the alternator, 0.18 volts. Says it's okay. So I don't know why I've got that light on in the dash. I'm going to go look and see if it's still on. So right now it looks like everything tested out okay. So I thought we'd do a little unveiling. I've already pulled the cover, the top cover off of this engine, but I thought it'd be a little more dramatic if I just put it back on and showed you what I found. So it may be our issue, it may not be, but it's possible. So we have some visitors who had a field day in here, literally. So they brought half of the field onto the top of this engine. All right, so we'll do a little cleaning, but I'm not reaching in there with my hand because I don't know if there's something still in there. It's like some mice got in here. We're having a kind of a field day. Nasty. We'll kind of reach in here. Well, they got it packed in here too. Wow. Did pretty well. So we're just going to clean this out. I'm sure it's going to stink as I pull it out of here. I got to think that's mice. I'm not quite sure, but or rat, one or the other. I don't think they're in here anymore, but they certainly were in here. And I'm thinking maybe they like wires. They do look, boy, he's got, man, they packed in here. All kinds of stuff. Beautiful. That's super. Alright, get the worst of it here, then I'm going to get the vac, shop vac, and we'll have a little field day with a shop vac here. Man, something was building a house in here. It's a hotel going on. Wow, it's just jam-packed in here. Alright, let me get the vac. We'll vacuum this out of there. I don't think there's anything in there now. Alright, here's the wiring diagram. Alternator. I believe it's the yellow wire that we care about because I believe that's what controls the lamp on the dashboard. It goes to connector BA3 and then to junction, let's see, A42. So I've got to go kind of run this wire down and see where it goes. I can see there's the yellow wire, the alternator right there. But what I see is, you can see the Rodent, this connector, this cover's been chewed on down in here. That's been chewed on. I don't know if you can see that, but that wire loom's been chewed on in a couple places. So I've got to kind of try to go through this harness and see if I could see where it was chewed on. And I'm hoping it's not going to be too hard to find. I don't know yet. Try to trace this down and see if I can see if there's a yellow wire's been chewed and it's got a problem. So that's what we're going to do. I'll let you know when I find it, when and if I find it. I just wanted to show the carnage that I found so far. Got underneath the car, I was looking up, and hard to follow that one harness, but I found some issues down here. You can see down here, you can see there's one broken wire, two that are barely hanging on. And it looks like somebody's been in there before. I don't know why, but that's transmission, so we're gonna pull that harness up. We're gonna have to correct them. Back in here, this harness, I haven't opened it up yet. But it's definitely been chewed on. We'll see if there's any damage in there. I don't know if they got through to the wires or not. And this ground wire, boy, they did a number on this ground wire right here. That's all chewed up. We'll have to replace that. But we're just going to fix the ones we know about right now. See what that has. I'm surprised this doesn't have some codes in it with those wires broken down there. But it doesn't, so I'm going to pull that apart, fix that, pull this apart, fix it if we need to, or retape it at least. I don't know yet because I can't really see. It's been chewed on for sure. I don't know if it's just aluminum. And this ground wire, we're going to fix that as well. That's the first thing. We're just going to do a little prep here. See, this wire's been repaired at some point before, but I guess that rodent possibly the rodent got chewed on it there, so we're going to cut this back to here. Cut this end off. We'll trim this back a little bit on either side. And this white one, we have 3 to fix here. Now we'll cut the white one kind of in between here. Cut them off. And cut the end of this one. I didn't cut this yet. And we'll put new pieces in here. We're gonna solder new pieces in. I'm not even gonna mess with it. Try to do it without putting new wire in here. So it ended up being 4 wires that need to be fixed. The blue one in here also had to be fixed. So I've got them all tied together here. I'm gonna put some flux on them and solder them. There's nothing exciting here. Let's get my soldering iron out of the way because I do not need to burn myself. I'll just hold it that way. I know where it is. I'm just going to get a little bit of flux on each one of these. Hopefully you'll be able to see this. I don't know. It's hot. It's hot out there. Oh, stuck my solder right to it. Didn't want to, but did. There we go. Doesn't take much for these small wires. Solder that. Gonna set that one aside. Get the other one. Get one more of them up here. I'll do one more and then I'll just come back. It's pretty much the same. Just got to get it out in the open so I don't burn anything else while I'm doing it. Hopefully, I'm probably blocking you, but not much to see, really. Okay, I'm going to solder each one of them, and we'll shrink wrap them, heat them up, put it all back together. I'm just going to let them cool a little bit for a couple minutes. Take a shrink wrap. Make sure you get shrink wrap that has, it's marine shrink wrap, it has adhesive in it. Slide that over, and then I'll shrink that. I'll heat that up, shrink it around that joint, and then we'll work on the next ones. And I've got my other ends all connected up now, cut. Before you solder them, make sure you put your shrink wrap for covering them up and slide it down the wire. If it gets hot, it's going to shrink up where it is and you won't be able to move it. So slid that back. I'm just going to go through these just like I did with the other ones, solder them, and then shrink wrap them, and then put the wire loom back together. I'll show you that. Okay, all back together, heat shrinked, wire loom taped up inside and outside. Just going to plug it back in. Done with that piece. Next, I don't know which one I'm going to go to. I'll probably go to this one up here that's just to see if it needs to be fixed or just the loom needs to be fixed. I don't know yet. So I went through this piece here, cut the loom off that was all torn up and went through, and the wires are okay. It was just the loom that was torn up, so I cleaned it up, put a new piece of loom in there, taped it all back up, taped on the inside as well before I put the loom on, and that should be fine. I'm going to go to this this ground wire. I've got to find out where the other end is. I can't really see. It's buried. Well, the wire didn't go far, so I was able to get it out pretty easy, but you could see that critter was having a good time with it, chewing on it. So I may just go get another one. So right here on the driver's side behind the battery, this connector right here, that yellow wire at the top, that's the yellow wire from the alternator. I corrected all these wires down here, and I don't think this was involved in them, so I still don't know if I'm going to get a battery life, but we'll see. I'll see in a minute. I was getting very low ohm reading on this. Just did I didn't load it, so I don't really know that loaded that it's okay, but it's not broken at least. I know it wasn't broken, so it didn't have real high resistance or anything. So we'll go back in and we'll start this thing up and see if it made a difference or not, or we still might have a problem with the alternator. I'm not sure at this point, but there's wires. I'll just show you a couple here. You can see the edge of it. Hopefully you can see the edge of that O2 sensor and that casing. That's been chewed up. There were things all over this engine and the wiring that have been chewed on. I'm really surprised it didn't have more codes in it, because that connector into the transmission had four wires that were, one was completely broken, three were just about broken and corroded, and I'm really surprised it didn't have more codes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Well, that's it for this video. I still have the battery light on the dash. I'm not sure why. I got to go do some more digging and try to figure out why. I did ohm test it, not under load, but that yellow wire that runs from the alternator comes right up by the relay junction box under the hood. Didn't seem to have a problem, at least not under load. I didn't check it under load. So I'm not sure where the issue was. There were several wires that this Rodent motel chewed on. I'm really surprised it didn't have codes and that it didn't have check engine light on. There were four wires to the transmission that they were just torn up. And I showed a couple other places where they were having a field day in there, tearing up wiring looms and wires, and fixed all that. Still have the battery light, so we're not done yet. It might be the alternator, but every test I've done on it has tested out okay. It looks fine, so I'm not sure what's going on yet, but we'll come back to it at some point here and try to figure out why that light's still on. I got to go do some more investigation, do some more research to see what else it might be. I did check the alt-S fuse in it. It looks fine. Doesn't seem to be a problem. But if you have this issue with your car, I thought it was going to be an alternator video, and it turned out to be more a Rodent video. But I hope this helps you out. If you like the video, subscribe below. Thanks for watching.